One of the things about having these reform people in charge is that, well, they're not the most sane people around, shall we say. As we've clearly shown many a time, reform's vetting system is so stringent that it lets these people through like water through a sieve. And as a result, you get some very conspiracy theoried, crazy colored people. We've already seen that in Doncaster recently. But yeah, they are not the most well sane people. And as a result, because sometimes these people will repeat misinformation or even conspiracy theories on these councils, this then even has potential legal ramifications, but also actual real world ramifications as well. In Wirral, at the moment, a ex-councillor now has actually put children at risk after he repeated comments that had been circulated about children sending Valentine's cards to asylum seekers. The reality is that never really happened. Nor is it, as shall we say, as been portrayed by this, shall we say, ex-Wirral councillor now in this case. But he has now put schools at risk, very much so. And this is the problem when you elect these types of people, because they don't think, they are pretty much insane, and some of them are quite conspiracy brained as well. So, as always, before we continue, let's crack on then into this, because oh boy, yeah, these people are fools. They're incompetent, and their incompetence can lead to real world problems. So, let's go cracking straight on into this. Now, children now at risk after debunked comments now from ex-Wirral councillor. So, at an education committee on September the 22nd, David Bruce Joyce, a former councillor and chairman of Wirral's Reform UK branch, said he had now seen a list of Wirral primary schools signed up to the values promoted by City of Sanctuary UK, a Yorkshire-based charity supporting asylum seekers. He asked whether councillors on Wirral Council and Education Committee supported the charity. He claimed that the charity now promoted small children writing Valentine cards, pledges, and letters of affection to undocumented male illegal migrants. However, a spokesperson for the charity is now strongly hit back, telling the local democracy reporting service this is now a wildly debunked misinformation campaign that has now put school communities at risk. Fantastic. Incompetence purely at its peak. And as I keep on saying, you think you've seen the peak of this mountain. Oh no, there's more still to come. And I think next year, where we see a lack of policy and maybe even problems start to creep up on some of these reform councils, I think we're going to really see some huge problems appear on some of these councils. But Councillor Stephen Barnett, who of course chairs the Education Committee, said that individual schools could choose which charities they of course worked with, and neither Merseyside Police nor the council told them what to do. He said police had been made aware of the misinformation being circulated nationally and reassured the authority that there were now currently no known risks to Wirral that we know of. But saying this had had consequences that could have put, schools in danger. Fantastic. He then pointed now to a statement put out by the charity, of course, rejecting the claims, arguing that the programme aims now to foster compassion, understanding, and safety within school communities. Councillor Barrett then added, the committee reaffirms its support for rural schools in making anonymous decisions about charitable partnerships, providing those decisions align with the safeguarding standards and principles and educational values. In August, the charity said there had now been false and inflammatory material posted about their school's sanctuary programme, adding, that whilst we're not directly involved in the delivery of activities in schools, we know that activities in question undertaken by a very small number of schools did not involve children writing personal Valentine's cards to adults in the asylum system. It was a simple act of welcome. Pupils wrote short, anonymised messages to show support and solidarity. These were expressions such as welcome to our town, we hope you feel safe here. The vast majority of these were then displayed within the classroom. In a small number of cases, schools actually gave them to local refugee support groups. No personal information was shared. The activity was now age appropriate, teacher led, and in line with rigorous school safeguarding policies. We take safeguarding extremely seriously and operate within line with all safeguard guidance. These are now incredibly dangerous misrepresentations of our work and are now putting schools and our team in danger. We are now pursuing legal advice and are now reporting all threats to the police. Wonderful. So this type of ridiculous misinformation that gets promoted by this not only potentially puts schools in danger, it puts people working at this charity in danger as well. Anyway, the charity, of course, said that being a school of sanctuary was, of course, about promoting a welcoming environment for children, and the program was voluntary and staff-led by the school, saying that we do not promote a political perspective. An increasingly political divided climate, we now encourage schools to lead with kindness and compassion. In doing so, we hope now to build a kinder, safer communities for everyone. On a page now of their website, they said, with recent events in Ukraine and Afghanistan, vulnerable children have now joined schools across the UK, with many of these schools having never supported refugee children before. The Schools as Sanctuary program not only helps these schools to understand the challenges that these children face, but they now also might be experiencing and support them now to thrive, and ensures that these children and experiences are now recognized and represented. Despite, of course, the pushback from, from Councillor Barnett, Mr. Bruce Joyce then continued to claim that he was aware of photographs having been taken in a school that clearly prove that his point had been made not only by himself and by some of his colleagues. He said that some had even had responses from schools, of which he described as, quote, reasonably abusive. Mr. Barnett said he would provide a written response. Um, this is the problem when you put these people in charge. When these people take these types of office and position, what they say matters. Like, what they say matters because what they say can then have consequences. Even at just like a local council level. Because these idiots spread this misinformation, which has now put people in danger. What more can you say than that? Like, just what more can you say than that? But yeah, typical reform attitude. They don't care, and doubling down on it even more so. Doubling down on it even more so. Unbelievable that they've decided to just double down even more and say, "Oh, but we've have photos proving this." Okay, we're aware of the photos. I hope this charity gets legal on these people and goes after them. I really hope so. Now, of course, it's a charity doing this, and to be honest, it's a waste of their time and resources to do this. But unfortunately, they are put in a position where they now have to. So I feel very sorry, first of all, for the schools that have been caught up in this. I feel very sorry for not only for the charity because they're now having to waste time and resources on this. I feel sorry for the staff who have now feel threatened working at this charity. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's insane. But as always, let me know what you think about all this. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.